Now, I'm going live to share some valuable information with y'all. One of the divines last night in the lives talked about the Hebrews. And I want to bring that up because that's not talked about as much on the whole situation with the Hebrews, okay? And what Hebrew mean. And for a lot of you, you might know that, but some don't know. So this is what this live is going to be about. I was going to talk about Uranus, the Kabbalah, and a few other things, but what I want to do is I'm going to hold off on that because I want to create a video to go in detail on that because I done been live a few times and spoke on it. So the goal is for me to get around to actually creating a video so I can get more in detail on the Kabbalah. Okay, so it's a video that, where you see me and you can keep watching it. Because I know a lot of people be like, you got your lives, but we don't see your face. And not always you're going to see my face. All right. So this live is probably not going to be lengthy, but it's going to be informational. All right. So again, a shade to the great mother, a shade to the ancestors, all of the kings and queens, all of the deities, a shade to the spirit guides and the spirit warriors, and a shade to the divine. Okay, as y'all can see, I almost went to sleep on y'all because I was sitting up here sleepy. I was like, no, I told I was supposed to be going live. Yeah, and when I tell you, sleep was getting me, I said, let me get up so I can go live because I did tell them I was going live tonight. So without further ado, I'm going to flip this camera around and I'm going to show you my board, okay? And this is what we're going to be talking about tonight is the Hebrews and the land above the land, okay? We finna go in debt, all right? So let me flip this camera. Let me get my pumpkin seeds, y'all. I've been tearing these pumpkin seeds up. I'm gonna wait for some more people to step in because I know it is late. And y'all know me, I go live at odd times. Look, pumpkin seeds is good for parasites. Get y'all some pumpkin seeds, okay? They good. Okay, we got 9 people in the room. I'm gonna wait for some more people. We're going to be looking in the book of geomancy. The book I'm gonna be reading stuff out of is going to be a book of beginnings, volume 1 by Geomancy, which is a really good book that I try to encourage people to get because this is like when I tell you it's full of secrets. You just gotta have divine insight and willing to research high and low, okay? Because it has everything in this one book. I have still not got the actual other book, but I have access to it, so I just print out different pages in it because Geomancy got so much information and he is a scholar. So get that book because it is very educational. Okay, we got 20 people in here. I'm gonna wait for some more to step in. Okay, I don't see anybody in my comment section, right? So I don't know if my comments is shut off or what. But I'm gonna give it a few more minutes before I get started. This is my board right here. Okay, and this is what we're gonna be talking about in the next few minutes. Okay, y'all here. Okay, so we got 19. We finna go on and get started. Okay, so as you guys know, if you have been listening to a lot of my lives and following my content, you always hear me say that we come from above and that we are in an upside down world. Okay? Well, in this book, Gerald Massey, it talks about that, where we come from. Okay? And so we're going to get a breakdown on this. I don't have a flat map, but this is considered my flat map for now. Okay? Now, what does Hebrew mean? Let's get to that. Hebrews means to cross over or pass through. We are the Hebrews, and we are the ones who crossed over or passed through from above. Now, understand this center, which is considered the Arctic, which is none other than the North Pole, is considered bear. Arctic means bear, the etymology. And bear is a symbol of the Great Mother. So the entire Arctic, which is the center, represents the Great Mother. We're talking about Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt. We're talking about where we come from, okay, as a divine people and who we are. All right, because that's not talked about enough. Who we are is talked about enough. Let me just clarify. Not where we actually come from and how this thing is broken down. And this is what this video is about. So we're talking about Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt. Now, this entire, imagine this being the flat map, okay? And this is the center. The center is the black hole, which is the black void, which is the black dot, what they call in Hinduism, Mount Meru, or they call it the Black Niagara, and it's also called Satan, okay? It's the rock that sits in the center. In Norse mythology, it's also called the Yggdrasil tree that connects the 9 worlds, which sit in the center. It's also described as being the Garden of Eden, the Axis Mundus, the Polaris or Nibiru, which sits in the center. Okay? And Hyperborea is also connected to the center. All right, which is also Greenland is also connected to the center. That's why Greenland is a portal to Hyperborea. Okay? And Hyperborea is the land beyond the poles. All right? So that's why if you have heard throughout history that we are those who come from Hyperborea, because that is facts. The center is called many names. The land beyond the poles, that's Hyperborea. Okay? So understand that we are in an upside down world. As you can see, give me 1 second. I'm finna flip this, because this is gonna sound crazy to y'all. Now, this center, where we at right now, I'm gonna flip this bad boy. Remember when I told y'all that we are in the upside down world? So, which represents the south. The south where we are at is considered the south, right? We are considered the south. But when you flip it, where we come from is the north, okay? Which is the North Pole. The south is where we are at now because we're in the upside down world, which is called Egypt, which is in Egypt mythology. Pet is sky, which means heaven. This is why they say we come from above or we come from the sky, which is Pet. Because when we, as the Hebrews, crossed over from the North Pole, the Garden of Eden, remember it said those who crossed over the rivers? The rivers is connected in the center. It's four rivers, okay, at the center of the North Pole. It is a whirlpool where four rivers breathe in and out every hour, okay? That sits in the center where they state that the reason, they say it is the reason for the tides, is for these four rivers, which is the little black squiggly lines. We are the ones who cross these rivers when they say we crossed the rivers and came from up here, which is the moors, okay, the feathered moors, the region of the mother, which is Har, the second perfected creation, which is the immortals. This is the Arctic. Remember, there were two creations, the heavenly creation, and then Kar is the earthly creation, which is these. These are the Moors down here, okay? Which is the child, immature mortal, okay? Kar and Har. Har, Horus, Her, that's Upper Egypt, okay? Which is Pathros, the divine creation. The placenta land, which is the birthplace of the deities upstream from above that moved down the Nile, okay, and came here. You're right, the dead would never understand. Now, Sut is the ruler of Upper Egypt. Sut is Satan, Shaitan. Remember I told you everything is in reverse. Satan is looked at as the bad guy, but Satan isn't the bad guy. Satan is Soot, okay? Which Soot is another word for melanin. That's the white crown. Okay, there's two crowns. You got the white crown, which rules Upper Egypt, and then you have the red crown of those who rule the Lower Egypt, which is Delta, which is the Fez, Moors. Now, the right crown is the Nebet goddess, who wears the serpent Uraeus, or the serpent-headed figure. Okay, and she represents another name for the Great Mother. Egypt, which is the upper heaven, which is Nubia. The south is also considered the south when you flip it, right? But here's the thing. Hold on. This entire Arctic realm is the mother, right? Let me flip it. And when we came down and came through the black dot, like they call it in different stories, the Jack and the Beanstalk, okay? How we came down the Nile, came down the rivers, and we entered into the south and came through Pet, which is the sky, which is heaven. We entered into the North Egypt, which is Delta, what they call it North now. Where you at? Which is actually north is above where we come from. And this will be considered the south, if you understand. Now, Lower Egypt was called Ethiopia, Ethiopia, or Utopia. Considered the ancestral seat of the north, the lion-headed goddess segment that wears the cobra Uraeus. This is why you see the sphinx that's half lion and half human, right? Because the sphinx represents the goddess that rules the Lower Egypt. Now, let me flip this. Hold on, you guys. So when they say we come from above, we come from the Upper Egypt, which is Pathros. Now, understand, if we are in the upside down world and we come from above, technically you have to flip that. We technically, when you flip it, it's not technically from above, it's from below. Do you get what I'm saying? So, hold on. So this is why I be doing more videos, because like even if I go live and I talk about it, some people get it and then some people be needing more, for me to clarify it more. So I do a video to actually put it out into the meta world so you can actually hear me talking, see me talking, and I can actually go more in depth when I actually do videos. But anywho, yeah, we went through the black dot. The black dot is the portal, which is the Mount Niagara, which is what we're connected to. This is the Garden of Eden. That's from above. That's Hyperborea, the poles beyond the land beyond the poles. We are those who come from the Yggdrasil tree, which is Nibiru, okay, which is another word for Nibiru. So understand that Nibiru is not considered, like they say, they call it a planet, but understand it is a portal. Okay, it's a portal, and it's also described as being many other things, but they all mean the same thing. Okay, so now this is why we are called the Hebrews, because we are the ones who crossed over from above, went through the portal, and entered onto the other side, which we ended up in Lower Egypt. Okay, and this realm where we are at is, we are the first ones to have inhabited this land, which is what they call in America, which is Atlantis, another word for Atlantis, another word for the Greek, Ethiopia and whatnot. It's a mirror of the Upper Egypt. It's a mirror. That's all it is. It's the same thing, but it's not our original home. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a mirror of it. Okay, so we came through the black dot. We came from above, entered in, and we landed up on this side, which is the Lower Egypt, the south. And this is why, again, I'm going to say we came from the sky. They said those who come from the sky, which is Pet, which is the heavens, okay, which is the red crown, which is Lower Egypt. We fell to Lower Egypt. That was the Exodus, okay? Yep, Jack and the Beanstalk. That was us. And this black dot is also called the land of Oz, okay? That's the center. The ancients called it also the land of Oz. All right, this is why the North Pole is so important and significant, and why they keep us away from the Arctic, because we technically only have one pole. There's technically really no South Pole. That's the secret. We don't have a South Pole. We just have a North Pole. That's the entrance and the exit. Okay, which is the black dot, which is also considered the black sun. And the moon and our sun is none other than considered a reflection of it. Okay? Everything is reflecting from this center, the void. So, yes, this plane of existence is what you would consider flat. Yes. And it's concaved. Okay? So now I'm going to read something out of this book, also just to clarify what I'm saying. Okay? And what happened to our people when they said we crossed the river. And that's why they call us Hebrews, because Hebrews means to cross over, because we the ones came from above, from Upper Egypt, and landed in Lower Egypt. Okay? We are the elders, the deities, what they would call the deities or the supreme beings, the divine ones, the immortals, which is the perfected creation, which is come from the region of the mother, the Moors that come from Mu, okay, that was ruled by the matriarch. We crossed the rivers and came over here to the lower Egypt. That was the exodus of us exodusing out of the Garden of Eden. Now, okay, so now let me just read some stuff to you guys out of the Gerald Massey book really quick. I'm gonna set this up. I just want to share some stuff with you guys. Hold on. Honey, I don't pray to Allah. I am Allah. Okay? And if you want to know more about Allah, I have videos and content speaking on Allah and who Allah is. Okay? Yes, we're still climbing Jacob's ladder because Jacob's ladder deals with your central nervous system, which deals with your spine. Your spine is the ladder, okay, where the chakras sit. And the Jacob's ladder deals with consciousness and the activation of DNA. So yes, we're still climbing the Jacob's ladder because this is about eschatology, which deals with the journey of the soul going back to the seat, which is the pineal, which is the throne. So this is a process and a spiritual journey of the soul that is journeying through the body to go back to the crown. And that's what my next video is going to be about, is breaking down the Kabbalah, how we are the Kabbalah. And the soul must go back to the throne, to the crown, in order for you to awaken up from this false reality, for you to enter back into the real world, right? This is the Gerald Massey book, Volume 1, a book of beginnings. Now, in this book, let me just read. It says, a persistent Greek tradition asserts that the primitive abode of the Egyptians was Ethiopia, which is facts, and is made of an ancient city of Meroe, from which issued a priesthood who were the founders of the Egyptian civilization. Meroe or Meru is the mountain that sits in the center of this plane of existence. We are the priestlyhood that came from the Yggdrasil tree, or what they will call the black dot or the black void, which is Satan. We come from the Garden of Eden, okay, which is Nibiru, right? Now, it states that hold on, Marie, or in the Egyptian, Meru means the maternal outlet, therefore the birthplace, which was typified by the Mount Meru. Remember I told you the birthplace, which is the place, the placenta land that comes from Mount Meru, which is Upper Egypt. That's where we come from. Now let me continue. The modernized form of Meru also yields the place of outlet. And this place may be pursued according to the African naming up to the Ru mountain and the outlets of the lakes. Remember I told y'all these 4 lakes, the 4 rivers that the Hebrews crossed, okay? The Hebrew tradition manifestly derives the Egyptians from above. The Egyptians from above and not from Lower Egypt. I will bring again the captivity of Egypt and will cause them to return into the land of Pathros, which is Upper Egypt, which is where we will return. Okay? Into the land of inhabitation. Pathros is obviously derived from the Egyptians, in which Rus is the southern. Pet is the name of the crib of birthplace of Puth. Denote the opening, the place of birth. Put and amped. Interchange amped as eft, being the abad, and the names of the goddess, the oldest great mother. Pet or Path is the earlier Beth, and Pathros is the birthplace of the South, which is what I was telling y'all. We're technically the South, and we got birthed into this realm when we entered in through. Okay? We went from being, you know, the immortals, the coming down here, having to be birthed into here, becoming into these physical bodies. Okay? Now, Patoris is the South Country, Upper Egypt. In the Hebrew writings, Ethiopia, which is Cush, and Zaba are convertible terms for the same country, the Egypt beyond Egypt. Okay? So understand that, y'all, we come from above. And we're gonna return back to the Upper Egypt when it's all said and done. Okay, we're gonna go back to the white crown. All right, which is what they will call Jerusalem. Upper Egypt is also called Atlantis. It's many names. All right, so keep that in mind. It is not just one name. They call it many names. And we will eventually return back to home. Okay, so understand our exodus. We exited out of the above or Upper Egypt, and we entered into the Lower Egypt. And I'm going to flip this mug again. We entered in to the Lower Egypt, and this is where we reside. Okay, that's why when we fell and came through the portal, we came from the sky. It was like we dropped down in this mug and came here. Okay, so that's why they say the gods come from the sky, or the deities come from the sky, excuse me. Y'all, I have to stop saying gods, but it just sounds so good, don't it? It sounds so good rolling off your lips, but I'm going to tell you right now, we are not the gods. And I have to keep putting that in my mind, training myself to say deities. But this is why they say we came from Pet, which is the sky, because we just dropped down here. We came through the portal in the sky. Understand that there's portals in the sky, in the heavens, what they call the heavens. Okay, and that's how we entered into the Lower Egypt, is what they call Delta. So let me flip this bad boy. So I know that somebody was asking me about this and wanted to know. Hopefully that this was informal for you. I would encourage you guys to get the Gerald Massey book, Volume 1, because it has a lot of information in there about us coming from above. And I know a lot of people wanted to know why we were called Hebrews and what does Hebrews mean. It is very easy and simple. If you want to know a deeper meaning of a word, go look up the etymology of it. I am a perfectionist when it comes to figuring out what words mean, because English is a bastard language, and when we stick with just English and do not look at the other meanings of what it means in other languages, it will mess us up. We will not never find the true meaning. So when it comes to certain words, I have to find the true meaning of it to get an understanding, because stuff be hiding in plain sight. You know what I'm saying? So peace, peace, peace. So yeah, so I had a lot of people asking about this Hebrew stuff. So hopefully this was informal for you. And oh, the Rainbow Bridge. We had to talk about the Rainbow Bridge. how the rainbow bridge is connected from this plane of existence that connect us to Upper Egypt, which is called the Bifrost Bridge here because it's in the Arctic. And it goes from being the Bifrost Bridge to going into being the Rainbow Bridge as the frequency elevate. Because understand we're dealing with the low 3D low vibrational realm, which is considered Lower Egypt, which is not considered, it's a home away from home. Okay. And so the bridge is in the Arctic. And so once you go from the Bifrost and as things elevate and as you go through this bridge, it'll go from being Bifrost to being rainbow because understand the frequency is getting higher and is leading you to Upper Egypt. Okay. So it's ways to exit out of this plane of existence, but they are not going to allow you to do that because they have certain things blocked off. Like, for instance, you have the center. They got the Arctic or the North Pole blocked off up under major surveillance because they know that the Yggdrasil sits in the center, which is the portal for us to get back home. Then you have the Bifrost Bridge is also another way to get out of here. Okay, and they can't control the Bifrost Bridge. We enter in and we get on that bridge through elevating our frequency. And this is like I was telling y'all, this is what we are up against. We are racing up against AI right now because they're trying to use AI to try to distort this shift, but it's not going to work. Okay, because a lot of us is already on the threshold of exiting out of Lower Egypt and entering back into Upper Egypt. Okay, and this has everything to do with etymology. Okay, that's a major thing. Let me see something. Says, how can we be sure that we sleeping with our head pointing north? Try pulling out a compass. But since things is shifting, your compass is not going to be completely on point because everything is shifting. But if you pull out a compass, based off my research, they stated it's going to automatically go north because it's the energy that's pulling it. Because the energy that sits in the center is this black hole, which is the black sun, and it pulls everything towards it. So automatically, you're going to know because it's the energy that's going to pull the compass. It's going to automatically go north, which is the gateway to get out of here, which is the beanstalk and where the giants came down from. And giants does not always mean that we also was big in size either. Okay, there were giants that was big, and there was giants, excuse me, that were just like our size, like how we are now. So it's levels to giants. Yep, the energy pulls towards the north. And so, and they know that. They know this, and they know that this land of Oz is also connected to our morphogenetic grid. It's connected to our memory and everything. And this is why they want to keep us from away from the Arctic. Okay, because the Arctic is the bear, which is mama. And they also describe the center as being Satan. And now, if you guys are a follower of the master teacher Bobby Hemmett, he also told y'all the same thing, that the center they call Satan. And based off my research, it's the same thing. Satan is considered the center, and that's mother, which who they describe as being the beast or the dragon. Okay, all of this center has everything to do with the orgone energy and the great mother and all of that good stuff that deals with us. And this is why they keep that blocked off, because This is the energy that they have been trying to harness, for a long time. They have not been successful. They just been trying. Yeah, the energy is very magnetic. So yeah, so I have to come on here and share this. I didn't want to keep y'all tonight for too long. Just thanks for answering the answer, because I know that cats and dogs know how to do it, but I don't have a pet. Thanks for answer. What do you mean by because I know that cats and dogs know how to do it, but I don't have a pet. So elaborate on me project shaman Nini. Said, they are breath notes. I get it. That's it. Um, yeah. So we are definitely existing in the upside down world. We're upside down. And I try to encourage people to go check out my video on the Black Sun, because in that video of Alice and the Wonderland, she went through the black sun. She went through the black hole, and she ended up in the lower realm. Oh, okay, 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 got you. Yep. So she went from the upper realm, crossed through the portal, through the black hole, and ended her butt up right here. And as she was falling through the portal and coming down, you can see how it switched to her being standing upright as she was falling. And when she landed on the floor in the lower Egypt, a lower realm, she ended up on the checkerboard. Okay? And as she was coming down, you seen gray aliens that was staring at her, and you can see everybody was literally upside down, And it was pretty cool. And I try to encourage people to go look at that video, because I broke a lot of things down and was very detailed in that video. But which goes to show you the checkerboard represents illusions and all of that and whatnot. And this is why they call this realm the illusionary realm, which is the upside down world. Okay? And this is a home away from home, but this is not our actual home. Okay. She says, where would you suggest to start learning about etymology? Well, etymology is about the journey of the soul. I would encourage you to get books like, hold up, give me 1 second. To get books, this is a very good book that I'm going to be talking about when I do these next videos to break stuff down. Give me 1 second. But to study etymology is studying the journey of the soul. And like I tell people all the time, this is not as complex as people make it seem. It's very simple. It's about the soul. You're technically in a deep sleep. You fell, you went through the portal, you bumped your damn head, you lost sight of who you are. You definitely went through an exodus, you died spiritually, and now your job is to awaken. Okay? And so this is about the soul that fell asleep when you entered into the lower realm. And you have to awaken that soul. And once you awaken that soul, and that soul travels through the body, okay? Because right now the soul has to journey back up. It's in the sacrum, okay? It's in the doodle shooter, okay? That's why in Egypt mythology, the scarab is the doodle, is the dung beetle, which represents doodle, okay? And it also is a metaphor for the soul, because the soul went into the root. Remember when Christ said that he went to the bowels of the earth? He went to the rooty tooty. He's in the sacrum. okay? Or what you would call, like they say, the manger. All right, that's inside of the I was gonna say the gastro tract, but it's not the gastro tract. It's another word, but it deals with the boo. I just can't think of it at the moment. But that's where the soul is technically at. Okay, it's in the rectum, but it's another word for where it exists in the rectum. Okay, and so this is why they say the soul must rise back up, because Christ went to the bowels, the dookie shooter, and the scarab in Egypt mythology is a metaphor for the soul. This is why throughout Egypt mythology, you will see the scarab. It'll go from looking just like a regular scarab, the doodle bung or the doodle dung, and then it'll rise up and it'll have wings, which represent an exalted soul, because the soul done rolls back up. And that's also, Nibiru is also a representation of the soul too. That's why they call it the wing planet, because it's a representation, excuse me, of an exalted soul. Okay, and it also represents the staff of Tahuti and the pineal gland. So yeah, not the colon. It's not the colon. It's another word. You have the etymology of the word of religion means to return back to bondage. I did a breakdown on that, and I did that actually in my class, and I actually got a video on that on my TikTok. So definitely nope, it's not the intestines, but I will bring it back up and do a short little video on it to bring it, back to y'all memory. But yes, this is a very good book if you want to learn eschatology, okay, which is the Kabbalah and the Exodus. This is a story about the soul, okay? And the story in the Bible, when it talks about the Exodus, there was an Exodus for us, because we left one plane of existence and came to another. We went from Upper Egypt to Lower Egypt. But the true Exodus deals with the soul, okay? And the soul, understand, means Solomon, which the soul of man means God, okay, or deity, okay? Soul, son. So this is talking about the soul going back to the crown. Exodus, leaving the lower dimensions and going back to the higher dimensions, which deals with Upper Egypt. Understand the body is also a representation of being Egypt. It means bondage, okay? Because the soul is trapped within the body, your essence, the divinity, the melanin, okay? The black dot is trapped within the body, and Egypt is bondage. The body is considered bondage. So you have to exodus out of this body. You got to evolve and return back to light body. Activate your Merkaba and the seeing. And this is what this book is talking about, from the beginning to the end, dealing with Moses, from your energy to different things that we experience to the struggle, is all in this book on how the soul must evolve. Okay. I'm going to show you some stuff in here real quick. Just give you a glimpse of what it is. The Exodus is a spiritual thing. Okay. Let me show you. It's all dealing with the Kabbalah. This is why when you hear me talk, I talk about the Kabbalah all the time, because we are the tree of life. And you have to understand and study the Kabbalah to understand eschatology. So let me show you something really quick in this book. Now, as you can see, this is the Kabbalah in this book. And it breaks down, as you can see, the pillar of consciousness, which is the crown, the divine self, the Binai, and then As you can see down at the bottom, it got the Malkuth, which is the body. Okay? And you got the awakening consciousness as you elevate. It's a complete breakdown. Okay? The super ego, which is punishment. Consciousness of divine. And understand that the Kabbalah has 4 worlds. And remember, I talked about the anima and the animas, which is father and mother, how we must integrate both of them in order to reach the Keta, which is self-divine, which is the pillar of consciousness, which deals with the crown. And you always hear me talk about the crown because we have to get back to the crown, okay? Because this is something that's happening within. It's a spiritual thing. The Exodus has everything to do with the soul. Let me show you another thing. Give me 1 second. Here's another description inside the book. All right. And this is all about getting back to the crown. How the soul must journey up from Malkuth, which is the kingdom, which is lower Egypt, and get back to upper Egypt. Upper Egypt is the crown. This is Pathros. North, south. Okay. The body has north, south, east, west. Okay. So the body is also, you can look at the body as being another aspect of a earth, because your body is also considered an earth. Okay, so you have your north and your south and your east and your west. And this up top is considered north, the bottom is considered south, east, and then west. Okay, I'm gonna show y'all something else. Let me show you something else. Never mind my background because I thought I turned my TV down, and it is they is going. Hold on. I had it turned down. It seemed like it just turned back up. Okay, hold on 1 second. Just to show you some more stuff. Y'all remember when Jacob experienced seeing the ladder? I was talking about DNA. Remember he said he seen the angels coming up and down on the Jacob's ladder. Those angels or angels was light. And they was talking about the codons and the codes in the DNA and the activation of the DNA to get back to the crown, which is, as you can see, Christ is up here. All right. And we got to climb up the Jacob's ladder. That's the crown. Remember, I was telling you bondage of the body, Exodus. The body is considered Egypt. All right. And so we are in bondage in this body. And the goal is the Exodus out of it and get back to the divine. Let me show you something else before we get up out of this book. Hold up, y'all. I'm going to show you guys another one of the Kabbalah that's in this book, but it's a very good book. As you can see in the center, that's the black hole, or the black sun, or the black dot that exists within you. That's the soul, all right? And this Kabbalah tree is you. That's why I see it got self, ego. It says place where their lower worlds meet. You have the breakdown of the nerves and the muscles. You got the thoughts and actions, that's by ego. The awakening consciousness, which is the threshold, which is feelings. Because remember, I told you we have to evolve through our emotions, okay, which is through the heart chakra, which is the illuminated realm. We have to raise our frequencies, because when you raise your frequency and you are able to cross over from the illuminated realm, because the illuminated realm is the bridge to the higher planes of existence, which is higher dimensional planes of consciousness, you start to tap into ascend through the four worlds, which is in you, and that's how you make it back to the crown, all right, which deals with Uranus. That's why you always hear me talk about Uranus, because Uranus is the realm that does not deal with time. And right now, we're in the Saturn moon matrix, what they call the Saturn moon matrix, that deals with primordial time. And time is the loop that we are all stuck in. And that's the infinity loop, okay? Which deals with death and rebirth. It's a cycle. And it's what you would call purgatory. We're stuck in purgatory doing the same thing over and over and over until you break it, break that cycle of time and exit out of primordial time and enter back into the crown, which is Uranus. That's why one of my lives I told y'all, I said, we always talk about Greek mythology, right? And we always speak on Cronus, which is Saturn, right? But Saturn is the gateway. You got to go through Saturn to get to Uranus. This is why Saturn is described as being the gateway, because you have to go through the poles. And this is why at the pole of Saturn, there's a hexagon. Okay, and this hexagon is a 6-point sigil, which is a 6-point star, which bobs at a very low frequency, okay, that broadcasts that frequency to the earth, all right, to the moon, and then the moon broadcasts it to the grid here. This is why you always hear me say this is all the simulation. It's an illusion. It's not what you think it is, okay? And this is why the hexagon, which is the hex that's being put upon our people in broadcast, it's a spell, baby. Okay, it's an illusion. And we have to continue to keep breaking its levels to bust through these barriers of illusions. And this is why, based off one of my books of Kenneth Grant, he talk about the pineal gland is also described as being the goddess Shiva, because she is considered as the destroyer. And they stated that when your third eye is open, which is Shiva, she destroys the illusions. That's why she is called the goddess that destroys, or the destroyer, because she breaks down the illusions, and the pineal gland allows you to see reality and see things for what they really are. You break the illusions, all right? And Shiva is also another aspect of the Great Mother. She is the destroyer. So understand, this is why this is important, it's center. Yep, the hexagon is what keeps the illusion going. It's an illusion. And this is why it is at the North Pole on Saturn. And our North Pole is the Garden of Eden, because you got to go through the North Pole. You got to go through the gates. You got to go through Saturn, the black planet or the black plane. You have to go through it. That's why Saturn is connected to prophecy in the last days, that's connected to us melanated beings, because we have to exit through Saturn, which means that we have to destroy time. We have to destroy it. We are the creators of time, and we are the destroyers of it. Shit stopped when we wake up. It started because we fell here. All of this started because of us. Okay, so understand when we awaken, this shit shattered, it's game over. All right, so we have to enter back through the pole. We got to go through the gateway in order to get back to Uranus. And this is why if you look on the Kabbalah, when the Kabbalah, y'all got me talking about it now, but I'm going to go back over this and reiterate this in the actual video. This is the Kabbalah tree, and it's, as you can see, the sun, the soul is right there, which is the soul. This is also the sun, which is a reflection. Remember, I told you that the sun and the moon is none other than a reflection of the black sun. Okay? This is why the black sun is in the center, which is the soul. The sun is another aspect of the soul, sun, soul, which is a reflection of the dark sun. And then the moon is a reflection of the sun. So, and they right there on top of Earth. As you can see, Earth has the 6-point star around it. Okay, it's the hexagon. Saturn, moon matrix, hexagon. It's a grid that's over us, okay? Which means we're under a spell. And it surrounds this plane, which is Malkuth, okay? Which is what you would call the earthly physical kingdom, the lower plane to exist in. This grid must be broken. The spell must be broken. That's time. And Saturn represents primordial time, which is the Titan. Saturn castrated Uranus. Saturn cut himself off from the divine. That's the crown, which deals with mind is all is mind. That's why I said we have to return back to mind, because mind deals with the spirit and mind deals with alignment, not time. And this is where we at now. We're on the threshold of entering back into the crown, which is the Uranus realm, because Aquarius, which is the age that we are in now, the ruling planet for Aquarius is Uranus. Okay, and Uranus is about breaking barriers down and opening you back up to the cosmic mind. Okay, plugging you back into your divinity, right? Back into your deity status. This Saturn, this represents the loop, okay, which is the hourglass. You're stuck there, purgatory, okay? So once we shatter this grid and we get out of this, because as you can see, we're engulfed in it. Once this time loop is broke, we go back to Uranus, all right? And so there's 4 worlds here. These 4 worlds exist within you. And we have to get back to the crown at the end of the day. And this is why you will hear Bobby Hemming say, shit, you might wake up hell. You might be on Peru somewhere and wonder how the hell you got here. Because when you wake up from this false reality, you're going to wake up in the real reality when you tap back into the crown. Because now we're under here. Everything we're under here. We're not even in the realm of Uranus. We're under it, which means that we have disconnected ourselves from the divine, right? So we got to connect back to the divine, and that's happening now. Yep, and so this is why the age of Aquarius, if you guys watch my video, I did like a breakdown on Uranus and the connection of Aquarius. And Aquarius, both of them is a power pack together, because Aquarius represents the 11th house, which means that we are in the 11th hour. Last call for alcohol. You understand? You know, and they say when shit's finna be done, it's finna be over. Hey, this is it. Better get shit. Better get shit together. That's what we at. This is literally the end game, because we're getting ready to move back over to the crown. When they say when Christ returned, the true messiahs is Israel. The true messiahs is here. They're already here. I call it I'm starting to say even though we are called the millennials is the messiahs. Okay? And we're here. And once that switch turned back on fully and completely, it is game over. And they know that we are on last call for alcohol. because we in the 11th hour. Okay. And so Uranus is breaking down whatever is left over in this illusionary realm, like the leftover residue. Uranus is chopping that shit down. Okay. And this is why this shit is breaking apart. Their system. This is why all of this stuff is starting to come down crashing. Yeah, we are stuck in a time loop. We are stuck in primordial time. And understand that time is entity. It's against you. And the longer you stay here, the longer you decay. The more you're gonna decay. This is why the only way to exit out of here is the death program. You got to be a part of the death program because it's a part of this system. You have to die and come back and keep doing it. And that also deals with reincarnation until you break the loop. The death program is a part of this loop. And so you have to break it, or you either pull a Enoch or a Lucy and ascend up out of here, and you don't have to experience the death program. You ascend, which means you get raptured up out of here, mean you tap into your rapture mind. You ascend. Ascension means rapture. And rapture is a Buddha word, which means PT, which means euphoria. Okay? And that's just an individual operating, at a high frequency. Yep, you are in a loop. You're inside of this grid. You're inside of the Saturn moon matrix, which is the 6-point star, the hexagram that is surrounding this plane of existence. That's why they call it the Saturn moon matrix, because time means tides. The etymology of time means tides. And what does the moon control? It controls the tides, which means that it controls the time. That's why it's called Saturn moon matrix. Saturn broadcasts the hex, the spell, and the moon controls the time until we wake up and break it. Says the Messiah, it says the Messenger also Christ defended before he ascended. What do you elaborate? Because you said the. I'm trying to understand what you're saying. You said also Christ defended before he ascended. Could explain. Just elaborate on that just a little bit, because I think you probably typed it in, but probably just missing a few words to make it whole so I can understand. It says, I need the bridge to reach the next dimension. You need to ascend and climb the Jacob's ladder. This is a spiritual journey to get to the next level. The worlds exist within you. Everything that you are seeing right now, divine, is a projection. The real reality, it exists within you. Okay, this is all a projection. This is why you will always hear me say, they got this little song called Roll, Roll, Roll Your Boat Gently Down the Stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Because you in your mind. You in a deep sleep, and the mission is you have to wake that soul up, because the soul, understand, when you enter into this lower plane of existence, by the soul being the deity, all right, it went dormant because it could not operate in a lower plane of existence, because the soul is considered the higher you. Okay, it's the immortal part of you. Okay, so this is why you have to integrate with your lower self. You got to become one, your animus and your anima. Then you have to put in the work by doing the dark night of the soul, shadow work. This is all a part of you emptying out, clearing yourself out, and coming into the knowledge of yourself, because like they say, to know thyself is to know the deity. So you have to put in the work, you understand, in order to get to the next level. And once you start doing that, you're going to start going to the next level, and the universe is going to be sending you messages from left to right. You're going to be seeing angel numbers and different things, and that is the great mother letting you know, hey, you getting ready to move to another level of ascension. I get it all the time when I'm reaching higher states of consciousness. The great mother always remind me that you're getting ready to exodus out one plane of existence and move to the next level. Okay, because it's different planes of existence, and they all deal with consciousness. And it's all about educating yourself too, and opening up your mind and allowing your neurons, which is considered your angels or your angles of light, to operate and pull in more light. Okay, which is the messengers in your central nervous system. And also, the more you research and you study, you unlock the barriers in your mind that was created to create light code lock now. You unlock that, which you stimulate your neurons to work more and to produce more neuromelanin in the brain. Neuromelanin is created more in the brain when you are using your brain. That's why they say if you're not using your brain, you will lose it. That's a fact, because neuromelanin is produced by using your brain, especially using it towards as educational purposes, as far as spiritual education. And that's talked about in one of the books that I have. So the less neuromelanin you have, it creates mental illnesses and whatnot and blockages. You want to produce more of it, because to the ancients, neuromelanin in the central nervous system was considered as the vehicle of consciousness and soul. So when your neuromelanin is operating fully in the brain, oh, there's no limitations on how far you can go. You stand in your own way. You're the only one that can put limitations on your mind. You know what I'm saying? So the more you grow, the more you open your mind and you open your heart, because understand that love is honestly the key. You know, you have to be able to open up the realm of illuminations and be able to pass through the heart chakra, because love is what opens you up to things. You understand? And fear restricts you. So when you are operating out of agape, which is a high frequency, which they say God is love, because love is none other than a vibration. It's a frequency that automatically shoots you to the realm of wisdom, which is the crown. He said that's why the opposition always rage bait us. Yeah, because rage is fear, is in the realm of fear, is low vibrational. And what does low vibrations do? It has effect on the DNA. It also can alter your genes. It's very detrimental to us when you are in a constant state of fear all the time. Fear is very low, it's very dense, and it moves very slow, the frequency. So when we are operating out of fear, we're creating our own demise, because the DNA is not going to unlock unless you're operating at a higher frequency. So that's right. That's hold on, let me look. Let me see. Somebody said, let me see how I've been saying this. M Project said, excuse me, the way out is to go within. And that is facts. You have to go within. And the realm that we exist in is all based off of fear, and it's all about the external world. And fear, keep in mind, is only an illusion. It is the absence of love. And fear is connected to this illusionary realm. All right. So the masculine controls the external, and the feminine controls the internal. This is why the soul, based off of different etymologies, uh, she is considered as being the analogy of the soul. Sophia, Isis, Nebet, you know, segment. All of these different divine names that represents the great mother, Queen Sheba, Shiva, they all represents another aspect of the soul. This is why they say the queen cannot rise. A nation cannot rise without its queen. The queen must rise first because it's talking about the soul. The nation is the body. So if the soul, the queen, rise, the body, the nation will rise, which the nation will ascend. So the soul is always the key in the situation. And the soul, whether if it's in a man or a woman, is considered the queen. She's the divine feminine, and she controls the internal world. She's the key. And this is why the matriarch was left out of everything, especially religion. Because religion wants you looking outside of yourself, of course, right, to throw you off. When in our actuality, the God that you seek is always you. It always been you, or the deity that you seek is within you. All right, and you gotta go within. That's why Lauren Hill said, "How you gonna win if you're not right within?" Hey, how you gonna win if you're not right within? Because Lauren Hill was speaking and saying a lot of things. She was saying a lot of things, but that's one of them that stuck out to me, and that's facts. You would never win if you're not right within, and it all starts with the soul, with the queen. That's good in me project. Says, did Lucy go to a higher octave? Yes. Yes. And a lot of you are going to higher octaves now. But octaves is frequencies and different dimensional planes of consciousness. So she tapped up out of here. She broke out of the loop because she entered into a higher octave. But the higher octave is Uranus. Uranus represents the higher octave, which is mind. And this is where we are moving towards now. We're on the threshold of it. Uranus represents the universal mind. Why you think they're trying to bring forth AI and want us to have a neural link with it? Because they're trying to stop the power of the divine. Because once we tap back fully, completely into the universal mind, that's the return of the Messiah, the Christ. They fear that. We're on the threshold of it. It's already started. That's why you got people like me and like yourselves who are reaching higher octaves now. We don't think like normal and average people. Our perception is completely different. We see out of a complete different lens than normal people. We think like deities. We are already operating and moving in our divinity. Understand that the age of Aquarius is about purpose. And many of us, is already walking in that purpose right now. So yes, we definitely are the truth. Yes, she went. It says, did Lucy go to a higher octave? They wouldn't see her because they were not vibing at her level of coherence. Exactly. They wasn't because she was on a higher octave, which means that her complete existence she went to a higher form of existence. Remember, matter comes in four different forms. You got the solid, then you have the liquid, gas, and plasma. She went to plasma. This is why they could not see her. she became omnipresent. She was like a ghost in this mug. You would hear her voice and she could move things around, but because you wasn't on a higher octave, and like you said, vibrating at her level of coherence, they couldn't see her because they was on different frequencies. They wasn't tapped into that octave yet. So to them, she was God or the deity, not understanding that they could have done the same thing. You get what I'm saying? And that's why throughout the movie Lucy, you saw her going through all of these different phases. Her bodies was taking different shapes, and she was looking at her hands. She had a fish hand. And she was starting to morph and change and transition because as she started to elevate at a higher frequency, she came out of that frozen state, which is time. So her form, she was able to shape shift, and we were once able to do that. That was a part of us naturally. We were able to shape shift. Okay. And we lost the ability of doing that because, of course, we lost the knowledge. But we also are not on that octave to be able to do it. So she was shapeshifting even in the movie, showing you what our ability is and what we were capable of when we were operating at a high level of consciousness. She said, now you know what to do. Yeah, and look, they put these movies out because they have to tell us without telling us. But a lot of us is already going through that shift is already happening within us because we already crossed the threshold. All right. And we already made that choice to a singing. We already made that choice. So it's automatically happening in all of us. All right. Because we made that choice. We want more. We know we are more. And that's where it starts. Believing in ourselves and knowing who we are. And that's all it took was to come back to the knowledge of self. That's all it took. And from there, you're going to evolve at an exponential rate. And that's what they know. Yeah, we do. We leave clues. We leave different things imprinted within the DNA, different things to help us remember. It's a movie out that's called Hypnotic. I like the movie Hypnotic because it kind of put me in the mind of the Matrix. But if you haven't seen it, I'm so sorry, but I'm about to get ready to spoil it for you. In the movie, they kept putting him in some type of little artificial construct, and they was trying to break his mind to figure out where he put his daughter. And every time they did it, he would do something or keep a certain memory or write something down for him to remember, right? And I believe that's the same thing with us. We leave clues behind. We leave things imprinted or different. I think it's called new mnemonic codes. It's connected to our morphogenetic field. And this is a spiritual thing. We leave these codes behind. So like throughout our lives, it brings us back to our memory. And the thing is about us is we lost our memory. And you have to ask yourself, like, how in the hell did we lose our memory? Is because you have many people that's manipulating the morphogenetic grid. They making all of these different machines. They have been studying us, our DNA, what makes us tick, what doesn't make us tick, certain frequencies that can mess with the DNA, also to mess with the mind, to erase certain things in the mind. And so as you can see, all of this different technology that they coming out with now, they've been had it and they've been using it on our people. For instance, you have the CERN operation of them trying to go in and out of the past and the future or whatnot, what they call the past and the future, and the messing with different dimensions, bringing things over and causing this timeline to shift because the more you go into the past, the more you cause the future to alter, right? So a lot of things that they were doing, they can't do anymore, which is the reason why a lot of our memories is staying intact right now and why we're not forgetting anymore. And this is why, based off some of these books that I have, they talk about when we start to come back into our true selves and our minds start to return, they try to create different resets and they hit us with different diseases, viruses, poison. They poison the food. This is all to try to get us to die out, and cause some type of war, right? To kill us off because they can't risk us waking up. But now they can't even do that because we have done become so far than we have ever came before, and they can't do nothing. So they stuck because we farther than where we have always, where we got to before in other lifetimes, you can say. So in other worlds. So now they like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? We're here and we trying to get a hold of this and we can't. So this is why I said they trying to use AI now. I was looking at the news today, and they was talking about neurodivergence on how they're going to be having neurodivergence inside of these jobs and basically trying to plug people up to this Neuralink shit. And I've been saying this shit, that they're going to be trying to use AI on us to try to get inside of our minds, to try to control us, try to control our consciousness and how far we can move up in our octaves and reach higher dimensional planes of awareness. But it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. It says I have anchor body codes. Got rid of the church bells. Yes, they got rid of all of the stuff that Tartaria had, which is one of the worlds that got destroyed. They destroyed all the church bells, all of the frequency towers that we had. They destroyed everything. But here's the thing, a lot of that stuff they still have it and got that technology. They just they don't have access to use it. But like they know that it exists. But yeah, they they got rid of a lot of Tartaria stuff. They got rid of a lot of the Atlantean technology too. But this is why the green man, I said the green man, the orange man want Greenland, because a lot of that ancient stuff and technology and blueprints from Atlantis is under Greenland. And that comes from the upper world, where we come from, which is the upper Atlantis. All right. And that Atlantis has the grid, it has the blueprints and the technology. That's the crystal grid. And this is why I was telling y'all in one of my lives, which I'm going to be doing an actual video on to talk more in depth on it. But this is why they want to build a massive data center out on Greenland. You know, they want to do it for AI, but I believe that they're trying to plug it into the crystal grid, which is the Atlanteans' technology, which belongs to us. So this shit, it gets deep, all right? And they know that they losing this war right now. It's a spiritual warfare. And when it comes to the divine, we got that shit in the bag because we dealing with beings that is not divine. Okay, we're dealing with parasites and interdimensional beings, vampire beings, all right, that enter into this plane of existence through entering into people's bodies, all right? They say the eyes is the windows of the soul. Well, the eyes are also portals and the body have portals. So a lot of these beings are none other than empty vessels, empty cedars, and they are meat suits for these parasites that enter into this plane of existence. And so the world is being ruled by parasites. Some call them reptilians. I don't even want to call them reptilians anymore because I have a deeper understanding of what they are. I believe they are vampire beings, and I believe that they are strictly parasites and they need a host and they need a body, and they have been ruling this plane of existence. They are interdimensional beings, and a lot of these people that is in power been dead a long time ago. They are full of parasites that has been ruling this world vicariously, living through these meat suits. All right, and that's what we are up against: parasites, interdimensional beings. So understand that they use us as a source, as a food source. Being here, they use our energy and whatnot. So they want to try to keep us trapped down into this low dimensional plane as long as they can. But they're not winning this war. They're not winning. It don't matter if they use this AI, because at the end of the day, AI ain't gonna work either. Cause ain't nobody finna be plugging into no neural link. We ain't finna do that. And I know when that do come online, a lot of people is not finna even budge. They really gonna have a war on their hands, because ain't nobody finna tie themselves into AI. And they trying to make it seem like, oh, it's nothing wrong with it. It's everything wrong with it. Yeah, parasites. I call them parasites because these parasites, you don't see them. You can't physically see them. And I remember when the divine said the reason why you cannot see these beings is because they're parasites and they're hiding in the spectrum. And I'm like, well, what the hell do you mean? I'm like, elaborate, divine. And that's when the divine was like, look, when we take in the light, we refract the light, which means we bend the light. And there's a large part of the spectrum that we miss out on, that we don't see. And they're hiding in that spectrum. They're parasites. They're interdimensional beings, and they use these bodies as meat suits. Okay? And Aleister Crowley, if you was into Aleister Crowley work, they talk about how to create a vampire. They talk about how to create the moon child or a low vibrational being. It's rituals and different things that they go through to bring in these parasites inside of the body. A lot of times it's based off their bloodlines, the DNA. And that's why you see a lot of the people in the industry, they are full of parasites. They've been dead a long time ago. It's based off their bloodline. They've been chosen from birth. These people, when they reach a certain bracket of fame, or a certain level of fame, you start to see these different celebrities had these moments where they like they going through a midlife crisis, is because they're going through these rituals and whatnot, and they are being prepared for their bodies to be taken over. They set up shop. They let these celebrities become famous because they're Cabbage Patch children. They're nothing but vessels for them anyways. They do the work, they get famous and get all of this money. And when they reach a certain age and it's time for them to go through this ritual, when they say selling their soul or whatnot, they do a ritual, open that portal and bring them parasites inside them bodies. That's why people, they be like, they be in sunken places and whatnot. Yes, they do, because once that parasite get in the body, that individual only lives for so long before the parasite take over and vicariously live out that body and get a chance to experience the luxury and the fame and the money that that person created and built up before the parasite came in the body. You know what I'm saying? So these people are vessels for these portals. I mean, not vessels for these portals, but they're portals and vessels for these entities to enter through and to live in. So these parasites get a chance to experience what it's like to be a human. Do you get what I'm saying? So yeah, they're walking corpse. Oh, definitely. You said our high vibration will short circuit the AI. Yes, and this is what they're having a problem with now. They're trying to keep up with us in the octaves and the higher planes of dimensional fields of awareness that we're reaching now, because we're moving so fast and we're ascending, and this AI, this technology can't keep up with us. So it would most definitely short circuit the AI. They had that in the Matrix with Neo seeing the Kodaks, And he pulled the parasites out of Smith. Right, exactly. That's right. Pulled the parasite right out. That's right. Because understand that regardless of being a celebrity and being a Cabbage Patch child or being or having a gobbledinger, right? Is what you can say is a clone. The industry is full of that, right? But besides that, these physical bodies is prone to parasites too. We got electrical parasites, we got food parasites, and we deal with spiritual parasites. So we constantly have to be on the detox, because if we don't, the more parasites get in the body, they take over the mind, and you'll find yourself in a sunken place and taking over too. And that's where possession come from, because our people don't detox, and these parasites get in the body, they take over the mind, and before you know it, you're in a sunken place, and now these beings is vicariously living through you. So it's important to take care of our health and to understand that parasites can get in anyone. Even these interdimensional beings, they can enter into anyone. If you are at a certain state, they can enter in through the portal. So this is why y'all saw Ariana Grande. Remember, people was talking about how she look all sick. I think that's her, and she all looking like she got cancer or whatnot. I believe that she was going through that. And this is why you look at some of these celebrities, they just got this dead look in their eyes. It's because they is dead. The parasite done already taken over. All right, Raquel. You said deliverance from evil to live backwards. That's right. To live is evil, and to evil and to be evil is to live. It's crazy. So being in these physical bodies is evil. It's evil. Because the body is a bondage, and it traps the divine essence within it. He says, I think of the Stargate when they put the worm looking thing inside the belly, but it takes over the person. Yes, it takes over them. And this is why you see, like I said, certain, well, not certain, because all of the celebrities go through this. They'll go crazy for a minute. You be like, hold on, they was just talking about somebody trying to get them of the Illuminati, and next thing you know, they just get quiet. It's because the ritual, they already did the ritual and the parasite taking over. Like, for existence, Martin, I think it's, what is it, Martin Lawrence? Yeah, Martin. Y'all remember Martin? Years ago, he was out in Hollywood talking about they was trying to kill him, right? And everybody was like, what's going on with Martin? You know what I'm saying? Like, he talking about, they trying to kill him. Yeah, because now it's time for you to give up that body. It's time for you to give up that body, that fame, because now they finna do a ritual on you, because you was chosen from birth for this parasite to enter into you at a certain time. You did what you need to do. You done built up this money, this fame, and created this life. And now it's time for you to give it up, so that this entity can live that life and experience what it's like to be human, right? So this is why when you see Martin Lawrence in these movies now, he don't look like himself. And he look all messed up, and they even caught him in the last Bad Boys, his eyes shape shifted. It's because the original Martin is gone. He's already been taken over. That body was just a vessel. And now the parasite have taken over. Yeah, all of them. Yeah, Britney Spears, Kanye West, and then you got to understand MK Ultra is a part of the program. It's a part of the process. MK Ultra. That's why y'all remember when Kanye West first started going through what he was going through, and he started dyeing his hair white. That's symbolic of MK Ultra. Y'all seen Chris Brown even with the white hair, that blonde hair, like that blondish white hair. That's symbolic of the takeover. That's why ever since Kanye West been off. You know what I'm saying? Because he already been taken over. And that go for a lot of them. A lot of them. A lot of them you don't see or get a chance to see the experience, but all of them have been taken over, and if they have not, they about to get ready to get taken over. And this is why if you hear of the stories of different celebrities and then they families be like, we done try reaching out to them and talking to them. You said looking like he spaced out. Exactly. Yeah, he ain't been looking the same. That's how you know they all been taken over. Um, Dang, I just lost my train of thought. What was I finna say? Bring it back to me, Divine. Um, I was finna get ready to say something, but I just done lost my train of thought. She says, wow, they put it through their eye, black eye ritual covering their eye on photos showing the ritual has been done. Yes, because either the parasite entering through the eye, because remember they say the eyes is the windows of the soul, the eyes is the portal. So the parasite enter in through the eyes, or they do a ritual, and that still is a part of it. And that's why, like you said, you got photos out there talking about the black eye crew, and then they have all these celebrities with a black eye. It's because they went through the ritual, and he was not with that. All of a sudden, his health exactly. Um. Oh, okay. Yep. Thank you for bringing that back to my mind, Maya. Maya. Okay, so the families. I was just watching some stuff on Tight Eyes. I don't know if you know who Tight Eyes is, but he is the inventor of the crump dance. And I was looking at his story because just like the other famous dancer, he had he was married to a Slavic woman, and he ended up, like they say, he committed suicide or whatnot. But I don't believe that. I believe he was a sacrifice, and I believe she was his handler. The same thing is kind of put me in the mind of Tight Eyes. I'm like, all of a sudden, he with this sister, and this sister is best friends with this Slavic woman. And Tight Eyes is a very great dancer, and it's another guy that was dancing with him, and both of them is both with the friends. And all of a sudden, they doing more stuff in the industry. And now, they're married or whatnot, and they're tied into this label. I can't think of the label, but the label been exposed for doing some stuff or whatnot. But I was watching a documentary on it, and I said, I hope that he ain't next, because these women that they put with these men, they be handlers, and they marry them and get with them, and they be a part of these bloodlines to pull in certain masculine and learn from them, get everything, suck them dry, their essence, right? And then in the end, they either do rituals on them or they sacrifice them, right? Turn them into one of them. But in the documentary, the Slavic woman family was talking about how they be trying to reach out to their sister. The mother was like, I be trying to reach out to my daughter. And my daughter has, she's not talking to me. She done blocked the family and woo woo. And then in the gorilla situation, if y'all been paying attention, her sister is starting to speak out on the situation with Gorilla and how I guess Gorilla ain't talking to them, she blocking them, woo woo woo. But this ain't the first time I heard this with different families and different celebrities and people in the industry, how they cut their families off. And I was like, yeah, the reason why they cut their families off is because they get in the industry. These people are chosen and groomed from birth. All right, it's certain people that is a part of these shows and bloodlines that they prepare them, and then they go through these rituals and get changed over, and these parasites take over the body. And it's about the DNA. So, anywho, just based off what I have been seeing and what I believe is happening is These people are getting replaced. And this is why they cut them off from their families, because they're not the same individual that came in the industry, right? They're not the same. The ritual has been done, and it's over. You understand? So now they're a product of the industry, and now they're part of these, they're part of the parasite crew. So they disconnect them from their family because they ain't the same. So, and I believe that that has a major big reason why these families are starting to speak out. But if they knew better, they'll leave them alone, because those are not your family members anymore. Yeah, you said they wear sunglasses. Yes. Makes me think of Beyonce when she was on the basketball game with Jay-Z back in the day and just looked zoned out like a zombie. Yes, M. Dot. Yes, she gone too. All of them got. All of them. That's why they be doing all this filthy stuff in the industry. It's them parasites. So yeah, so get y'all some pumpkin seeds. That's right, Raquel. They look like your family, but internally, they're not. They have been swapped out. That's what that is. Get out. Yep. Get out. Why? It's because you got to get out your own body. The movie Get Out was telling you what was happening. You got to get out your own body, and they replace that body with a new consciousness. And when you in that certain place for so long, eventually you will, I would say, eventually just disappear or disintegrate or whatnot. You're not going to be able to, if that consciousness is not connected to that body, eventually the soul is going to be trapped in that body, or the parasite is going to try to kill it. So understand, like on the movie Sinners, remember when she said that when these vampires take over, which is the worstest kind, which is the parasites, what happens is it traps the soul in the body, and it does not allow the soul to cross over to the ancestors. So the soul be stuck in a sunken place in that body, never able to rise up. And if it do find a way to rise up, you see people be having little moments. They be breaking down in the industry, crying and shit. The next thing you know, they back together. It's because it was a little window for that person to come up. But then when that parasite get back strong again or take back over, they go back into the sunken place. So it'd be more than one consciousness occupying one body. But one of them be stronger than the other. And sometimes they can give them medication to make the soul, to make that person stay in that sunken place and stay asleep. I mean, they put it in these movies and show you how they do it. Just like the movie, dang, I forgot the name of the movie, but the the scientist was creating doubles, and people that would die in war or in the military or whatnot, they would take the bodies and put them on ice, and it was a facility for rich people. So if rich people wanted to change their meat suits or whatnot, or get in a younger body, they can transfer the consciousness over into the body. So if anybody know the name of that movie, please put it in the comment section. But anywho, when they would change over and swap out the consciousness and put it into the other body, they would give them pills that they would have to take for a certain amount of time, right? So that way it weakens the other consciousness that would try to rise up in the body. And remember, when dude ended up putting his consciousness in a younger body, if he wouldn't take the pills, he would start having memories of the original guy life that was in that body. And he started to see that the man had a life before him. He had a daughter and a wife, and start to realize why he killed himself was to save his daughter, because his daughter, I think she was battling cancer. So anyway, he ended up stopped taking the medicine, and he let the man's consciousness come back online, and he just dwindle away. And in the end, the original consciousness took back over the body. No, it wasn't called Syriac. So it was a really good movie. Yeah, Legion. They have many. Yeah, these pumpkin seeds is good. I be tearing these mugs down, you hear me? Get y'all some oregano oil. Cook with y'all some curcumin. Clear out out the toxins in the mind. Curcumin is good for neuromelanin. They ain't gonna tell you that, but it's in a book that deals with neuromelanin, why darkness is required, and curcumin is key to your neuromelanin. It keeps parasites out your central nervous system, and it removes residue and toxins that try to build up in the central nervous system. And it prevents brain fog, which is parasites. I cook with it every day. See, at the 6th day with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I seen that. No, not that. That's not the movie, but I seen that. That's good too. That's good too. I got my little mix where I said I'm about to give me some stuff and make me a little power power shake. Got me some coconut water in there. Yeah, I can't think of the movie, but it's a good movie. I want to say Transcendence, but Transcendence deals with consciousness. I just thought about that. That's another movie that deals with how he ended up. It's what they're trying to do now. He ended up, the scientist, he ended up uploading himself in the World Wide Web. And he became this universal consciousness, right? Because he became AI. And that was his transcendence. Because he technically like kind of died or whatnot. And they uploaded his consciousness into the World Wide Web. And after that, shit kind of went haywire. But it's a good movie to show you what they're trying to do. I can't think of the guy that played in the movie. Let me think of what he playing. You know, what is his damn name? Um, the guy. I can't think of it, y'all. If my king was here, he would have been able to help me remember. But I can't think of. He even play a character. He play like a superhero character too. I can't think of his name. He did a movie with X Men, not X Men, but Wolverine. He was in a movie with Wolverine. They did a movie a movie together. Damn, what is his damn name? Don't you just hate that when you have something like right at the tip of your tongue and you can't seem to you can even just see it. Can't see it. That's the sign of sleep. Y'all, I was fighting my sleep. I said, let me get up. I'm like, because I done told them I was finna go live. And I think it is Johnny Depp. It might be Johnny Depp. I don't think it's brain fog. Me, I got it bad with not remembering, or I would say I'm good at faces but not remembering like names. But storyline, always remember. The faces, I never forget. It's them damn names. And my kings like, you got to start remembering the names. I be so wrapped up. Yeah, Deadpool, yes. Him. He played in the movie. Yes. Thank you. Appreciate you. Cheese Wavy came just in time. 'Cause I was sitting here looking like it ain't coming to me. But yes, he played in that movie, and that's a real good movie. Okay, before I get off here, let's dip into the Epstein files real quick. Who downloaded them? And did y'all get a chance to look through the Epstein files? Because I downloaded the Epstein files, and this is why I was tired because I was looking at the Epstein files, and some of the stuff I was looking at, it just looked like they edited a lot of stuff out of there. It just looked like pretty much a lot of nothing. But I didn't look through all of it because it's hella files. So I just didn't really have the time. I just got tired and I ended up falling asleep. But I know it's some shit in them Epstein files. You just gotta dig. Okay, and they're there to, you got access to it if you downloaded it to dig. But I was listening to a few people speak on it, and this is the truth. They saying that okay, protesting is breaking loose around the world, right? But the question is, what is people gonna do when this shit fully come out on what's going on? Because we know, you know what I'm saying? We know what's going on and what's been happening in the industry in this entire system. A lot of us we already know. We not dumbfounded to this. We know what's taking place. But we're talking about for those who are not. It is like, okay, what after this is all said and done, I'm wondering how this is going to all unfold because I stated that these Epstein files is going to be the catalyst to help and bring America further to its knees, okay? But we got a lot of burnt people too. And what I mean by that, they sleep. A lot of them got short attention spans. They like one moment, if it's not in front of them, they ain't thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? One minute, if it come across the screen or come across them, they'll talk about it, be mad about it then and there. But then once it's over, they get wrapped up in their life and they forget about the shit. This is what these motherfuckers really want us to do. They want us to overlook what the fuck that they've been doing. But the thing is, I want to know what's really gonna unfold after all of this shit come out because we've been saying this stuff for the longest. How twisted and psychopath these people are, and how they are sick. They are sick individuals, and something needs to be done because if we don't, as a whole, do anything, okay, and they're gonna keep doing what they're doing. And as of right now, shit, I don't know nobody that done been arrested. Motherfuckers need to start being arrested right now. Y'all done released these files. Y'all know what the hell going on. Why is he still in spot? Yep, it's called Selfless. Thank you, Bobby Frank. Thank you so much. The movie Selfless. Go watch that movie. It is a very good movie on what the industry been doing. Yes, it's so many people, man, that love this system. But the thing is, in order for us to move forward collectively, we cannot we cannot afford to move forward like this. This is not allowed to go forward. And so this is why I'm like, I want to know what's really finna unfold because we are head over heels for a war. And I believe that this is finna, we on the precipice of a spiritual war, all out. Because they, these so-called powers must be removed. And in order for us to move forward, it needs to be a reset. And this is why I said coming 2030, based off my calculations, that's when the reset is supposed to happen. And this is why I'm seeing, all of this stuff going on because I feel like they're trying to find a way to stop the shift. But I believe that they are so late. They're so late. And I just want to see how the people is going to respond to this, you know, because all of us been talking that is aware of what's been going on. You know what I'm saying? We've been speaking on it. So I guess we're gonna see within the next few months on how this shit is gonna unfold. Because something, and I'm not talking about, giving them a little slap on the wrist. Things needs to be done. It needs to. And I know people ain't willing to get out of being comfortable, but it's not about being comfortable. Because when we become comfortable, we become complacent. And we cannot become complacent with this evil ass system. We have to do something. We have to rise up. And this is what they're trying to prevent is the messiahs from fully coming online because we are the original judges that's going to judge this plane of existence. We're going to judge these parasites and send these fucks back where they come from. All right? And they know that. And everybody else that was right along with them gonna go with they ass. So they're trying to stop that from happening. But I'm wondering if something finna break out before then, before 2030. That's what I'm wondering. I can feel something in the air. I can feel it. Because this honestly should, like they say, break the camels, be the straw to break the camel's back. Oh yeah, they're very scared. So we'll see. We will see. Because it kind of put me in the movie Civil War, when in the end war broke out and they went to the White House and killed the president. I believe that we on some shit like that. That's what's coming. Yep, that's right. We are the jury, judge, and the executors. That's why I'm like, look, shit finna hit the fan soon. I believe something is going to shift. Something is finna shift, and it's gonna turn the switch on in the chosen, and they know that. something is going to switch and something is going to turn on. Because the reason why these fucks is doing what they're doing because they feel like they invincible. Like they can't be touched. But see, the great mother, she know what she doing. That's why I'm going to just sit back and watch the divine work. Because when it's time, it's time. That's right. The great black mother is the highest course. That's right. Yeah, the sun is definitely popping off. The sun definitely plays a role. But look, y'all, go get this book, The Kabbalah and the Exodus. Trust me, you won't regret it. It's gonna be worth every bit of your money. Go get you the book of Beginnings, Volume 1 by Gerald Massey. It's gonna be worth your money. Go get these books because look, y'all, with the way stuff going, one day you might not have access to these books. So go get them. I just recently got a book, and this is what I'm reading on this right now. I had it for a while, but this is what I'm reading. I can't tell you whether or not if this is a good book or not, but anything dealing with the dome and outer space projection gots to be the shit. So get that book. The Kabbalah book, you said is 165 on Amazon. No, this Kabbalah book that I have, the Kabbalah and Exodus, I think I paid no more than like 25 or 35 for that. The Gerald Massey book, I paid probably around the same thing. This Dome book was probably like 20 something. Y'all know I got like a library up over here of books, but they be worth it. You know what I'm saying? I got some more books that I'm getting ready to order that's dealing with the lands beyond the ice wall, like the Clone World, the simulation, the projection, the holographic realm. I got that coming, and that deals with the dome. And I got some stuff coming on the Black Sun. But y'all, it's so important to get these books. So important. Yeah, on Amazon it's like 35, but I don't know what the prices is now, but hopefully they haven't went up. But y'all know everything is going up right now. Everything. Who was the author of the Kabbalah book? The author, let me show you. Remember, this live is going to be up, so y'all will be able to go back and look at this live. This is the author for the Kabbalah book. The Kabbalah and the Exodus. Revised edition. And for a book of beginnings, it's Gerald Massey. Yep, I'll post them. As soon as I get off of here, I'm going to just screenshot them and post them up. The last book Is that the book about the Kabbalah or the dome and the outer space projection? Is that the book you're talking about? This is the, I'm gonna put them back up, but remember I'm about to get ready to post them too on my page. This is the Kabbalah and the Exodus, and this is the scholar, the author, and this is the Dome World book. But don't worry, because I'll be reposting it on my page. Oh, they do got a hard, yeah, yep, the hardcover. I ain't going for the hardcover. I got the paper. It's good enough for me. Yeah. Okay. Well, all right, you all. I appreciate you coming on this live and rocking with me tonight. I am going to be doing an actual video on some of the stuff that we talked about tonight. That way you guys can go back and just have the video for yourselves, because I always just go back and reiterate, excuse me, I almost bit my damn tongue. Reiterate the things that I do in these lives, because I know people be wanting to see me. So I'm going to be doing a video tomorrow on the Hebrews and Upper and Lower Egypt. I'm gonna try to get a video out for that, so that way it can be in the meta world. And also on Uranus and the Kabbalah. So if you happen to miss this live, it will be up, but I will be doing actual videos on them. Trying to get out as many videos as I can right now because I got the time. Well, look, I will. I can't say when I be going back live again, but I'm gonna try to get some more videos done for you guys. But you already know, whatever pop up and whatever may happen, I try to come on here if the divine give me the divine insight or want me to send a message across the meta world. Y'all know I'm gonna be back on here. Um, Again, I'm gonna post those on to my page right after I get off of here. Y'all already know what it is. Each one, reach one, teach one is the goal. Um, Thank you for my moderators. You know, some of y'all did pop up. I know some of you probably didn't. I know I came on here late, but appreciate you. You see somebody negative, you already know what it is. Bounce the motherfuckers out. Um, oh yeah, and don't forget to get some pumpkin seeds, y'all. Some pumpkin seeds. Okay, because we know that they kill parasites. And that's what we want. We want to clear this body out as much as possible. Um, Stay negative free and continually to raise your vibrations, continually to educate yourself spiritually, because that is very important. And get these books, because you never know what may happen. It may come a time you might ain't got these, you might can't even get these books no more. All right, so that's important. Invest in your spirituality, invest in your ascension. And by doing that, that's getting these books that carry the knowledge. Because, like they say, you want to hide something, put it in the book. It's in the damn books. But remember, you carry the most valuable book, and that's I call it the Alexandria Library, which is the DNA, and DEA, which is the Akasha. So when you read these books, it unlocks things within you. And before you know it, you like, oh snap. Sometimes you ain't even got to read these books, some of them, because you just start to remember. So it's all about just firing off all of those cylinders, activating those receptors in the brain to get your natural flow of memory coming back, bringing your cellular memory back online. Like Raquel said, you will get quiz, get them books, and study. I know that's right. The 72 tones of God is just like as the 72 Goshias. It's the same thing. Go get the Goshia book. That's right. Everything is within you. All right, y'all. I'm gonna go and I'll get up out of here. Y'all look, have the night that y'all deserve. Oh, another thing. Get y'all some dragon sage. Start saging your house. Clear out your house. Do it every month. Okay, especially if you be having people coming in and out of your house, because you don't know what type of spirits that they bringing in there, and they will sit in your damn house. Clear your house out. If you have people and company come over all the time, clear it out. Do it every 2 weeks, every once a week. All right, clear your house out. Put you some salt, some sea salt on your front door and on your back door. Okay, because some tried to get me the other night, and I had to get my house in order because I just moved and I forgot to sage my house and put up my protection. And some tried to get me, y'all. It tried. And I had to clear my house out. I had to, because I've been so busy with everything else, I forgot to do the most important thing, was the sage. And, that's my thing. I do my little rituals, and I do my sage, and I walk around my house, and I speak it out into the universe, and you know I get down to business. But yes, get your sage, get your salt, get your rituals, get your candles, and don't forget to meditate, because meditate is the highest form of prayer, worshiping, and fasting. And some of us, we done reach higher states of octave, so we don't even have to meditate like that, because meditation just naturally happens, right? You said you just bought some dragon blood sage. Yes. Shoes carry the soles of your feet, so no shoes under the bed or in the bedroom. I like that. Yes, that's the first time hearing that. Well, I know the shoes is the sole, but that in that way. I like that. Never heard it like that. Open up all the windows when you do it. That's right. And clear it out. All right? Because energy get trapped in corners. All right, y'all. I'm out of here. Peace.